Hey everybody, Mark here. I'm about to go through the process of calling Airbnb and seeing about getting them on record about a stay that we had, that we attempted to have with them on November 15th of 2017. We booked a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a living room, kitchen, for the Pax Unplugged event. And the idea behind it was pretty straightforward and simple. We rent the house, a bunch of us would stay there, and we would just, take an Ubers together back and forth from the location, saving money and everything else. What had happened was the host for it, which was a verified host through Airbnb, where they said that this is a legitimate thing and all that stuff on their site, guaranteed that the house was there, was actually a fraud. The woman hadn't lived there for 2 years. So when we show up to the place at this house, evidently we walked into some family, sitting on the couch having, family time. So it was rather a contentious event. Per Pennsylvania state law, the requirement is that they're supposed to walk us over to a like accommodations, because PAX Unplugged and the Philadelphia Marathon was going on. Airbnb did not have another facility that was available for us as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and the accommodation they put us into were not acceptable to us. And they went from 3 bedrooms, 2 baths to 2 hotel rooms. At first, they tried to put all of us into, there were 6 of us, and they tried to put us all into 2 beds, 2 king beds at that. Luckily, 2 of the other people went off and did their own accommodations, but we still had 4 of us to share 2 rooms, and we did not get the extras that we needed and which we wanted, because the idea of the event was to actually do some play testing and stuff, have some meetings at the house and stuff like that. So we did not get what we wanted. So we filed a claim with the bank. The bank came back and said that we had canceled the reservation, which didn't happen. They canceled the reservation. So for Airbnb to get out of the actual responsibility for this, that's how they claimed it. It was like, oh, well, you canceled the reservation. But in their own statement, they said that it was not there. So regarding the customer state of the Department of people listed not knowing about Airbnb, the hotel booked for the customer. Please advise the customer service knows. Per the host agreement, the renter may set a cancellation policy. The renter's strict cancellation states a 50% refund will be issued if the reservation is canceled 7 days prior to the reservation. This refund does not include any merchant fees required through this charge, outlines in the terms and conditions. The customer will cancel on 11/17. As a result, the customer has received a refund totaling of $200, which was issued on 11/15/2017. So they're saying that we canceled on the 17th, which we already were there for, but they then issued us a credit on 11/15. So already their statement's incorrect. All due credit has been issued to the customer. Any further re-representation of funds for the charge will result in a duplicate credit. No further refund is due. Per the terms and conditions, all sales are final. The cardholder has not received advisement or promissory credit from Airbnb. The cardholder received benefits of the purchase as being responsible for the charge. The charge is due and payable. So they went through like an entire list of stuff that was inside of their own internal notes. Most of it's invalid. So I've already made several phone calls about this. I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm going to try to get them on camera actually admitting to. I'm going to see if there's any other things that are on the side of these terms and conditions. So, for one, their statement is incorrect, where they said that we had canceled. We had not canceled anything. It was a fraudulent listing, and Airbnb was defrauded, so and such we were. So this ought to be fun, because there have been multiple times where they have said that that they don't care about state law. They're going to go about their own internal processes.
for calling Airbnb. We're looking forward to talking with you. Press 1 if you are a travel manager calling about a reservation for your company. Press 2 or stay on the line for anything else. If you're calling about it, to confirm that this is your account, we'll send a text message to the phone number that's on your Airbnb account. Tap the link in that message, but please don't hang up. Don't worry, confirming your account won't make you lose your place in line. If you can't get the message for any reason, just stay on the phone. We'll give you some time right now to check the text message from us and tap the link in it. This call may be recorded for training and quality purposes.
Hello, my name is Corey with Airbnb Customer Experience. I just want to say thank you for self-authenticating to make it easier. Am I speaking to Mark?
Yes, you are.
Hello, Mark. How can I help you?
Well, I'm again calling in because you guys have violated state law in regards to a stay that we did on November 15th. You also lied to Visa by saying that we canceled the reservation, and we did not cancel any reservation. You guys put us into a fraudulent reservation because you refused to actually properly vet the host.
Okay, I understand. So which reservation was it?
It was for the Victoria home in Chestnut Hill. From 11:15 to 11:20.
Let me see really quickly. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. And this call is being monitored and recorded for quality and training purposes. Right?
I'm sorry?
This call is being monitored and recorded for quality and training purposes. Right?
You're recording me?
I just asked you if this call is being
You're talking
monitored.
about me.
I'm asking if you're recording this.
Yeah, I'll record the record here.
Okay.
Sir. So with this reservation, what was the issue again real quickly so I get a better understanding?
The problem is that your host was a fraud. There was no, they didn't live at that address for 2 years. So when we showed up to the reservation, there was some family living there, had no idea what Airbnb was, and there was a really contentious meeting when we first got there, because we showed up at around 11 o'clock at night, or 10 o'clock at night or so, to check into our Airbnb, and we walked in because the door was supposedly open, and there was a woman and her 2 kids sitting down on the couch, enjoying quiet family time.
I understand. So, what was, were you wanting, compensation for this issue?
Yes, I wanted a full refund.
It was rebooking.
I wanted a full refund.
It looks like on my end, good sir, you had gotten an extra hotel rebooking that returned.
No, that's per state.
Refund return.
No, that's per state laws that you have to, per Pennsylvania state law, you have to put us over to equal accommodations. You did not put us over to equal accommodations. We had flown out there with the expectation that this hotel room, that this Airbnb was going to be our residence for the next 4 nights. You did not properly vet the host. Thus, the contract was broken between Airbnb and myself, and I expect a full refund per state law.
Okay, well, I can definitely look into it real quickly. Can I put you on hold for just 1 quick minute, though?
Sure thing.
All right, right back.
here.
Thank you for holding. So I looked into it, and it looks like you called in about this issue before about a week ago.
Yes,
Like,
and I'm going to continue to.
Somebody.
I'm going to continue to call in because you're in violation of state law. Your requirement was to move us over to equal or greater accommodations. You did not. You're in breach of contract, and we want our money back.
Yes, sir. What I'm saying is that we did help you get into another state. There was a hotel rebooking.
No, you did not. You put us into. I'm sorry, but the Victorian home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a living room and a kitchen. We did not get that. We got 2 hotel rooms that were 2 king beds for 4 people, and there were supposed to be 6 people staying with us, but they found other accommodations. So, no, you did not give us what we wanted. You did not give us what we had signed up for, thus breaking state law.
Okay, well, as far as this, what I can definitely try to do is that I can push this ticket up to a specialist to look into it to see as to, like, giving you the refund back if you're saying it is breaking a state law, and then we'll get into contact with you to discuss the issue with you to help you try to get the refund.
No, we're not going to do getting in contact. You're going to
number.
get somebody on the phone now. I've already been waiting for contacts, and nobody contacts back. They think that I'm just going to drop the situation. It's not happening.
It's like I'm saying, because there's a process that we have here that we have to do.
Your process has already been.
All the info
Your process has already been. I don't care about your processes. Your process has violated the state law. Your process has also lied to Visa. You said to Visa that we canceled the reservation. We didn't cancel this reservation at all. You canceled it because it was fraud.
As far as to why it canceled, I'm not entirely sure as to why it was canceled. I'm just saying, I'm telling you what I'm seeing on my screen. I'm seeing it was a rebooking that you had, and then we gave you partial refund back for it.
No, it's not a rebooking, man. Then you need to look further in the notes because it says right inside there, the host did not live at the address, and the host put up a fraudulent listing.
Okay, well, as far as that, like I said, though, if I can push you up to somebody to look into it, and I can get a case manager on it myself to look at it, they'll get all the info that they need from.
No, I'm not. No, we're not disconnecting this call. So, get somebody on the phone that can handle the situation.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, yes, it is.
That's how we have to do it, though.
No, it's not the way it's going to happen. We're not going to be playing this game of waiting for callbacks and everything else. We've already done that. It's been an entire week. Nobody's called back. So, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to get somebody on the phone now that's going to handle the situation. You allowed a fraudulent host on your site that defrauded us for these funds, and we want our money back.
I understand that, good sir. But what I'm saying is that we helped you get back into another listing for a rebooking.
It doesn't matter about your other listing for a rebooking. You lied to Visa because you said we canceled the reservation. We didn't cancel the reservation.
Okay, well, as far as that, I'm not saying about what the cancellation.
Then get your supervisor on the phone because
it was rebooking.
Yeah, I don't care if you're saying it's a rebooking or not. Get your supervisor on the phone because you're not addressing this properly.
Give me 1 second, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, give me 1 second, good sir. What I can try to do right now is I can try to transfer you to somebody who can help you right now, but I can't promise you anything, okay?
Well, put him on the phone.
Alright, give me 1 second then.
Mm-hmm.
sir, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Alright, sorry about that. So like I said, I tried transferring you, so they won't take it because there's a process we have to do with it, like I said.
I'm not hanging up
What
this...
I can do instead for it, though, is I can't put this ticket as urgent and try to get into an actual case manager myself to look into it faster.
I'm not hanging up this call.
It'll get a lot quicker happen.
I'm not releasing this call, and I want a manager on the phone.
Okay, sir, but I told you, like, this is the process.
Your processes, I've already followed your processes, which you're not understanding. I followed them multiple times. They're not calling back. I do not care about your processes. I want this addressed by a supervisor tonight. And I'm not going to release the call until I get a supervisor on the phone.
Okay, sir, but I'm saying my supervisor is going to tell you the exact same
I don't
thing
care
what
you're telling me, what you're saying. I don't care. I don't care. Get your supervisor on the phone.
Well, you might not care, good sir, but like I'm saying, this is the process that we have to follow.
I don't think your processes are violating state law. Your processes are violating Visa's law because you have no ability to actually properly address the concerns that have been raised. So get your supervisor on the phone.
As far as the concerns have been raised, sir, like I said, as far as the host,
get your supervisor on the phone.
With them. But as far as that, we've also gotten the rebooking for you, and like I said, we also
the rebooking has absolutely nothing to do with this because the rebooking was subpar accommodations for what we paid for. It's subpar accommodations for what we paid for. It's subpar accommodations for what we had to pay for, and there was no other accommodations within the city that you were willing to put us into, and we were stranded there. So per Pennsylvania state law, you have to put us over to like accommodations, and you did not put us into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a living room and a kitchen. That did not happen. You put us in 2 hotel rooms. That was not acceptable. We did not. The only reason why we accepted to go to a hotel room was under the understanding that we were getting a full refund. We stated it multiple times on the phone with Airbnb. So get your supervisor on the phone. You also lied to Visa. You cannot address this part because you lied to Visa saying that we canceled the reservation. We didn't cancel anything.
Okay, well, as far as that, like I said, I'm not sure as to how it went into the cancellation process. But as far as that, like I said, on my end...
That's why I said get your supervisor on the phone.
I know, sir, but like I'm saying, mine
get your supervisor on the phone.
Because I'm already telling you, man.
Get your supervisor on the phone.
And then we give you a refund.
Get your supervisor on the phone.
Sir, they're going to tell you the same exact
thing. And you're not listening. I told you multiple times, get your supervisor on the phone.
Okay, well, as far as that, man, I don't have a supervisor anywhere near me at the moment.
No, that's not my problem. You should place me on hold and get a supervisor available. I am not releasing this call. And we're not close enough to be called for you to call me man. We don't have that personal connection. My name is Mark, Mr. Sirens. That's it.
Okay then, Mark. The way it works is, like I said, we already have a hotel rebooking that we did for you.
It doesn't matter if you had a hotel rebooking for me. Again, get your supervisor on the phone. Your hotel rebooking was inadequate and does not live up to Pennsylvania state law. Your policies and procedures do not override Pennsylvania state law. Keeping me on mute also is not going to get your supervisor or me to hang up the phone. I'm aware of that tactic.
Thank you so much for holding. This is Dorian.
Hello, what's your title?
I'm a supervisor here at Airbnb.
And what was your name again?
Is this Mark? My name is Dorian.
Dorian. Yes, this is Mark.
Okay. And I understand that you're trying to get a refund for the inconvenience of having to be put into a hotel that was not up to your standards, you said?
It was not up to the standards of what we even ordered. Per Pennsylvania state law, you have to give equal or greater accommodations if you cannot provide the lodgings that the lodgings that we paid for, that we prepaid for. That's the important factor, because we prepaid for, which guaranteed the room rates, and you did not vet the host properly to verify if the host actually even owned the property or was able to use Airbnb at all. And that host had not lived at that address for 2 years. And some other family was living there that we walked in on. So, in addition to that, per your form that you sent over, which I have a copy right here in front of me, you said the renter may set a cancellation policy. The cancellation policy, a strict cancellation policy, states 50% refund will be issued if the reservation is canceled 7 days prior to the cancellation. Well, even by this standard, first off, we didn't cancel the reservation. You did.
Right.
So why would you tell Visa that we canceled the reservation? That's a lie to Visa.
I would have to exactly look at this reservation. So it was canceled by us.
It was canceled by you.
Yes, but it was canceled by us because... I'm just sorry, I'm trying to look exactly into this.
Take your time.
I haven't seen the case before. So the case manager that you were dealing with was the one that said that she could only give you the partial refund, and
it's a partial refund of $200 was never going to cut it. We wanted a full refund because per Pennsylvania state law, again, you have to move us to equal or greater accommodations. You did not do that. You put us from a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, which in Chestnut Hill, you put us into 2 hotel rooms that had no kitchens, that had no living rooms, so we could not conduct business the way we wanted to conduct business. Airbnb should not be fighting this because you guys did not vet the host properly enough to verify that they actually were able to rent out the place like they said they would. So when you have 6 people showing up at a house at 11 o'clock at night, the last thing they should be doing is walking in on a family, enjoying family time, watching TV. The optics of this alone are absolutely phenomenal, or absolutely outrageous, and it's phenomenal that you guys are not actually just saying, we're sorry for the inconvenience, sir, here's your refund. We deeply apologize for the inconvenience that we have caused, and that's not what you paid for. Airbnb at this point in time should not be keeping a hold of any of our funds, and should be doing everything within their power to make us happy so that we don't take legal action against Airbnb. Or take this back to Visa as you're lying in their response on a Title E claim stating that we canceled the claim or canceled the stay and we didn't cancel it.
So the only problem was that when they rebooked you into a hotel, I understand that you're saying it wasn't up to the accommodation accommodations?
Because there were no Okay, let me make something really clear. There was no accommodations to be had anywhere else in the city. You had the Philadelphia Marathon going on, and you had Pax Unplugged, which combined brought in almost 200,000 people to the city. There was no accommodations to be got anywhere in the city.
Okay, so if the hotel wasn't up to your standard,
called.
Did you ever try and call Airbnb the
Yes.
day that you got to the hotel? And
Yes.
let them know that you didn't want to be there?
Yes. And we said, and it doesn't matter, whether or not we wanted to be there or not. There was no further accommodations, one, but Pennsylvania state law says it's got to be equal or greater accommodations. These were not greater accommodations, and they certainly weren't equal. So you violated state law.
Okay, so what I can do is, and I'm going to say exactly what I can do. I am a non-trip supervisor. The only thing I can do for you would be to send this case up to that team again, Trip.
And that's not...
That made the decision the first time. But there are different people who may be able to assist you. It won't be the same case manager that gave you that partial refund. It will be a different case manager.
Man, I've already been... Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off.
I'm not able to give you a refund at all.
Let me make something clear. Let me make something clear. I've already called in about this last week. I've called about this about once a month. Nobody in Airbnb is doing the right thing on this. So tonight I am not releasing the phone call until you get somebody on the phone that has the authority to issue the credit on this account.
So the agent that you were speaking to before did try and get you over to our trip department, but let me see why they weren't able to take you right now. Do you mind if I just put you on hold for one moment?
Go right ahead. Take all the time you need. I hate to keep interrupting them, but the reality is that I've been put into this holding pattern every single time I call in, and right now it's caused my account to go really negative with TD Bank.
Mark. So I did do some more research, and I can't do anything for you besides let you know that you did get other accommodations. They may not have been the exact standard of what the house is because it wasn't an Airbnb. We got you into a hotel so that it would be a for sure place that you could stay because you had already had one problem with Airbnb.
Two problems. You had your other person before the reservation before that try to strong arm us for another extra $1,000 on top of what we already paid Airbnb. So this is two things back to back in a row. This one, to be clear, we did not cancel this reservation, correct?
No, but if it wouldn't have been canceled, you would have just been paying for not to stay in that listing.
Why would I be paying not to stay in that listing? I paid to stay in that listing. That listing.
And at the listing, you said that you walked in and there was a family. There was no way you were going to be able to stay in that listing.
So again, did I cancel that reservation?
That's why they canceled it.
Who canceled it?
This reservation for you, and they used the money that you paid for
Not for me.
Reservation to get you into a hotel for that same price.
Hold on. I never agreed for them to use my same money into that hotel. Never agreed to that. I stated from the start, nonstop, that I expected my money back for this because by Pennsylvania state law, you have to walk me over to equal accommodations. You did not do that. You canceled the reservation. As you just said, Airbnb canceled the reservation. We didn't. You did not adequately follow any sort of procedures to ensure that this was actually a legitimate host or not.
The best we can do is when someone signs up to get a listing, they put in their information, they put in the address, they verify their ID. We do not ask them for their deed or their mortgage papers. So maybe that's something that Airbnb can improve on.
That's what Airbnb should be doing. Airbnb should be ensuring that the hosts actually have the ability to even sublet. You are refusing to do that. So you guys are subrogating state law by putting us into lesser accommodations, which is not what we contractually signed for. We didn't sign away any of our rights. We did not sign away our rights for anything less. You had an obligation by state law to put us into equal or greater accommodations. You failed to do so. You're omitting
put you in a
that
hotel for you to stay, and you said that you didn't have any other place to stay.
Correct,
So
but that's your by law. You have to do that, and
a
it's
hotel would be better than staying nowhere.
that's not state law. Again, I don't understand how you guys are fathoming that you can sit there and say, "Well, we put you in a hotel." That's not what the law says. The law says you have to put us in equal or greater accommodations. You did not put us in a three-bedroom suite.
I really do apologize for this inconvenience, and as far as the state laws go, we have Airbnbs all over the world. We can't keep up with all the state laws, city laws. There are different laws in almost every county, every city. We can't keep up with them all. We are trying to improve that, but I do apologize.
So what you're admitting,
nothing else I would be able to do for you today.
What you're telling me is you don't care about state laws to follow them. So,
I did not say that.
Well, that's what you're implying.
By no means, no, that's not what I'm implying. What I'm implying is that we cannot keep up with every state or city law because we have Airbnbs all over the world.
So if you're openly breaking the law, if you're openly breaking the law,
I am not openly breaking the law.
You are openly breaking.
That was the law at the time, and I am very sorry for whoever did this to you.
Airbnb did this to us. That's who did it. Airbnb did this to us, and there's no way to improve it next time. You guys also shut down the account, so we cannot access our account, and we cannot access the information that's on there, showing that we did not agree to giving up our money that we paid into the reservation to go to 2 hotel rooms. Because that's not what was supposed to happen. We were supposed to get equal accommodations by state law. You did not provide it. Ergo, you violated the contract that we signed when we provided you the money for this hotel, for this stay on 11/15 to 11/20. So what you're saying is, first off, you guys lied to Visa by telling them that we canceled the reservation when we didn't. Now you're saying also that you're not going to follow state law because you can't keep up with it. And out of all this stuff that happened, this was not something that we just didn't show up to or we didn't like the place we were staying at. You did not do the due diligence to check to verify that this was a valid host. We ended up showing up at the address at, I think it was 10:30 at night is when we first showed up. And the burden is now put on us. The first proof that you guys are lying Second proof, its burden is to inform you of laws you should be made aware of. Any other crowdfund, rideshare group has to abide by state and local laws, which they have to research. So you're admitting that Airbnb does not follow state and local laws because they don't have the time to research it.
So, Mark, I think that we're misunderstanding each other because none of that came out of my mouth.
Yes, you did.
I don't know who lied to your visa. I don't know who lied to your visa company. This is my first time ever seeing the case, so it wasn't me. And then secondly, I didn't say that we don't want to follow the rules. I'm not saying that we don't want to follow laws. I'm just saying there are Airbnbs all over the world, which means that
that's irrelevant.
Do not.
That's irrelevant.
Every one of the. Okay, so I let you talk. Could you please let me talk?
Sure, but that's irrelevant.
Okay, so it's irrelevant for me to explain why
it's irrelevant.
You cannot keep up with all the laws?
Yes, it's irrelevant that that's totally irrelevant why you cannot keep up with the laws. My condition is for a stay that happened in Pennsylvania. What's relevant is why you're not following Pennsylvania state law. That's the only thing that's relevant here. If you mean to tell me that you cannot follow Pennsylvania state law because you can't keep up with it, the last time the law was updated...
That is not what I'm saying.
Then what are you saying?
Again, you keep going really left with this. I'm not saying that we can't follow Pennsylvania's law because we can't keep up with it. I was letting you know that we did not know that. And the person that was probably on your case probably didn't know about that state law.
I stated it at the time.
Why they didn't just give you the full refund. They probably, because per Airbnb's, our rules are to keep you guys safe. If you show up to a listing where there's a family and you're out, it's 11 o'clock at night, 9 times out of 10, that case manager was thinking about you and your other guests' well-being, and they wanted to get you somewhere that was safe in a place for you to sleep that night. If that didn't work for you, me as a person, if I didn't want a hotel room, I would have called in and told Airbnb, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work for me. I understand that you wanted to help me, and they told you, no, you can't get the money back. You have to stay in that hotel room.
There was no other Airbnbs to accommodate us. So yeah, we had to stay in that hotel or be homeless. A subpar for what we paid for. So by Pennsylvania state law, again, which I stated at the time because I had looked up the law, and it took over 2.5 hours to get us into the hotel for a convention. I kept repeating it over and over again. What you're saying is that you're operating in a state that you have no idea what the laws are, and then pushing it back on the customers.
I'm all the way on the West Coast.
It doesn't matter where you are, man. Do you work?
The laws in my state.
Well, that's not my problem that you don't know the laws. The problem is Airbnb should, and you should be trained on it. The problem is you're looking at protecting the almighty dollar, and that's not going to happen here. The publicity of this, the blowback is going to be extensive. Because if you don't think I'm calling, honestly,
I really do apologize for this inconvenience.
Your apologies don't mean anything.
You what I can do for you.
Then you should get your.
The only thing I can do, because you speaking with me, is not going to get you the refund, and I'm just going to send it up to our department that would be able to issue a refund if they find it fit. So I've already escalated this up to that department.
Then you need to get that department on the phone.
To wait.
I'm not going to wait. I've already waited. I've waited what? 8 months now. I've been waiting. Calling in, being told to wait. Call in, being told to wait. Have you guys submit back lies stating that we canceled the reservation, which we didn't.
So
trying to take away the recourse from my bank.
On the 28th?
So,
that would be the last time that someone got in contact with you about this situation.
No, I'm not receiving emails.
Every time that... Okay, well, if there was an email sent to you on May 28th.
And the communication has always been demanded to be a callback, a phone call, not an email.
So I do apologize for that as well.
Well, your staff are very well aware of what the requirements are to call back and what the requirements are to speak with me. You now need to put me on hold and get whatever department that is going to be handling this on the phone. The fact is, you guys have the optics of this alone.
Handling this, unfortunately, does not do phone calls.
Well, that's not my problem.
Departments that do phone calls and some that do emails. They don't even have phone access because everything has to be in writing.
That's
the last one was sent to you on May 28th. I can send these notes up to them again and ask them to relook at this case.
That's unacceptable. Because the same thing's going to happen. It's the same vicious circle. Airbnb has the bad optic now of putting proof that they're not properly verifying hosts, that when people show up for their stays that travel in some cases 1,000 miles or more, that they're now might be homeless. And that's exactly what happened here. You put us into a homeless state until you provided 2 hotel rooms, which we did not agree to pay for. And now you're holding our money hostage and refusing to give it back. Then you lie to my financial institution and to Visa by saying that we canceled the reservation, which we never did. You broke Pennsylvania state law by not putting into us equal or greater accommodations because you refused to pay the money of $1,000 per night, which would have been equal accommodations. Because there was a suite available, I believe at the Hilton or the Marriott, that was a 3-bedroom suite that could have been handled, but you didn't want to pay for that. So since you guys did not want to pay for the proper accommodations per state law, you violated state law, you violated every sensible act of customer service, you are given the optics and showing, like, you have tons of state legislators across the country, the United States, that don't want Airbnb because they say they don't follow the rules. You're even saying that you don't know what the laws are. You should have it, the Airbnb should have it pulled up for every single state of where somebody's staying at, so that way you know for sure if your customer is going to be impacted or not. We didn't show up and say, oh, this house is ugly, we don't want to stay here. We showed up and there was no place to stay because the person hadn't lived there for 2 years. This is why you're losing court cases left and right.
What would you like me to do?
Full refund. If it's not obvious, I want a full refund on this. Or get somebody on the line that can give a full refund.
I told you how you would be able to get a full refund.
We're not waiting. We've already waited.
I sent it up to that department. I am basic customer service.
It doesn't matter what you are.
For a smaller amount.
Nope.
So I've done all that I can do, Mark, and it just seems like we're on the phone and you're refusing to understand that I cannot do anything further.
I'm not refusing to understand anything, ma'am. I understand what you're saying. I'm refusing to accept I'm refusing to go along with what you're suggesting to do so we can release this call so your call time doesn't go through the roof. The fact is, I've already followed those procedures multiple times. That department refuses to call back, and they just keep rejecting it. Because the game they're trying to play is, well, maybe he'll give up. I'm not giving up.
They don't refuse to call back. They're just not allowed to give call back.
That's insane.
You should definitely check your email to see the responses that they've given you, because the last response I see where the lady sent an email and let you know that she was unable to issue a refund. And then she gave a whole couple of paragraphs to let you know what was going on. So I will send it up again, which I already have done. But as far as me connecting you to someone, this one I can connect you to that would be able to help you.
So once again, you're refusing to get somebody that actually has the ability to handle this and issue refunds on the phone.
I am not refusing. I don't have a way to. The person who is the department that deals with these type of cases do everything through email. I don't know what else you would like me to tell you.
I don't want you to tell me anything. I want you to get somebody on the phone with authority. And if you're refusing to get somebody on the phone with authority, the public relations nightmare that this will become for Airbnb is pretty bad. especially when I start bringing these issues up to state legislators. It's also an election year.
I've let you know what I can do, Mark, and I've done what I can do.
Well, what you can do is not good enough.
And I do apologize for that.
Your apologies don't mean anything. Your apologies doesn't give me money back in my pocket, nor does it correct the wrong that Airbnb did.
I understand.
I'm not releasing the call until I speak with somebody that has the ability to give a refund. So either you're terminating the call,
Well, then I
or
will have to disconnect because there's nothing else I can do, and I've let you know multiple times what I was able to do for you.
like I said, I'm not terminating the call.
Okay, Mark. Well, I do apologize for the inconvenience that you've had,
Again,
but I do have to disconnect this call.
Your apologies mean nothing to me. You're refusing once again to put me up to somebody that can actually handle this and actually issue a refund. Your company canceled the reservation, lying to Visa on the forms they provided.
So again, that department does not make outbound calls or accept inbound calls.
That's not my problem.
They communicate through email, and they have communicated through email. I don't know why you haven't received those emails, because you have 2 emails on this account. They have been emailed to you with responses letting you know what's going on with the case and why you're unable to get your refund. Hello?
I'm still here. I'm waiting for you to get me to somebody that can actually handle it.
Okay, so I actually can't get you to anyone that will handle it. They should be in contact through email since I already sent it up.
I'm not.
And they will be the ones.
Email's not going to be acceptable.
But I will have to disconnect this call, Mark.
So here we are at 7:05 p.m. on June 7th. Airbnb disconnected the call once again, not getting a supervisor on the phone, not getting a refund done. As they said in the video here, they do not listen. They do not know what state laws are, and they violate them on their own. So there's that first one. The second one was very important, that we did not cancel the reservation. They did, and they lied to Visa about it. The accommodations that they put us into were substandard, and we did not agree to pay for it. So this is the ongoing issue that we have with Airbnb, and this should be a huge eye-opener for anybody that's using the service, that they do not adequately screen their hosts for setting up the accounts. So what happens is you can run into a situation like we did. We pay in advance. I believe it was like $1,500. It was up there. I'm pretty sure it was like 15. I don't delete my emails when it comes to anything, so I do it on purpose to make sure that I always have stuff on there. The only thing that they had sent me was recently, it was pretty much your reservation date, and this was on May 28th by LaKenya T. Hi Mark, thank you for your patience while you used the case. I appreciate the time you've taken to share your concerns and perspective on this experience. Based on the information provided, I've decided we are unable to issue a refund because you are booked in a hotel following the cancellation of your reservation in November. Thanks for your understanding, time, and contribution. So we never agreed to pay for the hotel room. They arbitrarily took the funds that we had and applied it to a hotel room without getting our written consent. Nowhere in here does it say there was actually written consent. The total amount was for $1,579. And had we had those funds returned back to us instantly, we could have gotten much better accommodations for what they were supposed to give us. And the fact is they refused to do what the Pennsylvania state law is, which is move us to equal or greater accommodations. They actually put us in accommodations that were below that. And luckily, we did not have an issue with 2 of the gentlemen that were sharing a room, but there was three men that were there and 1 woman, and they put a woman inside of a room with a man that they could or could not have felt comfortable with. So all in all, Airbnb made a massive miscalculation on the handling of this, and that's what I'm glad that this video is to show. And I'll be doing an update here pretty soon, uploading it and doing some timestamps. So thank you all for watching. Please share this, hashtag Airbnb sucks, and go from there. So bottom line, if Airbnb gets defrauded, you're gonna get defrauded.